What is up, guys? In today's video, I'm going to be comparing the Infantry Rifle and the Mr. Blasty pistol and letting you know which weapon I think is best in kind of your medium to long range fights. As always, if you guys do enjoy this video, find it helpful, informative, or interesting, remember to give it a like, subscribe if you like to see more, comment down below which of these weapons you prefer, and if you guys would like to use my code in the shop when getting anything, it is EvolveJake, just like my channel name is, and it is underneath the webcam at all times. So, as I kind of already touched on, both of these weapons are a really good choice for medium to long range fights in the Simpsons season. And with how a lot of zero build fights play out this season, you get into a lot of kind of like stalematey situations where you're behind cover, the enemy is behind cover. Both of you are showing like very little and you're trying to just get some amount of damage on them and then maybe push off it. And these weapons are going to be great in those stalematey situations because they are both really accurate. They don't have much bloom at all, even when you're full spraying them. And they're both really high damage weapons. So in those situations, just hitting a shot or two can be enough damage for you to maybe clean up a kill or get enough damage to like want to push off. The downside of both of these weapons is going to be that they both have a pretty low fire rate and they both have a pretty low mag size, but neither of those disadvantages are really that relevant in those situations that I outlined where you're going to be taking advantage of them most is when you're playing cover, the enemy's playing cover, you're just looking for some amount of shots to open the fight. Also, if you have an unsuspecting opponent that doesn't know where you are yet and you're trying to get like initial tags to start the fight, both of these weapons are really good choices because of their really high damage. And as far as damage goes, they are super similar when you compare equal rarities. So a blue Mr. Blasty will deal 54 body damage and 95 headshot damage, while a blue infantry rifle will deal 40 body damage and 80 headshot damage. So the Mr. Blasty is a bit better damage-wise, but they do very similar amounts of damage to where I don't think it's really drastic. Like, it's not a night and day difference either way. If you were comparing this to an AR, like getting that almost 100 headshot damage out of the Mr. Blasty or the infantry would be a big deal, but going from 95 headshot to 80 headshot damage, sure, you'd rather have the 95, but it doesn't really change how I'm going to play the fight. If I hit a headshot with either of these weapons, that's potentially a player that I'm like willing to push out and try to capitalize on that damage, whereas just like hitting one headshot with the ARs, it's not really the same way. And that's why both of these weapons kind of fare very well in that like medium to long range kind of like pick playstyle where you're just like looking for tags because of those like really high headshot damages and just the solid body damage as well. Hitting 2 body shots with either of these weapons is about 100 damage, and that, you know, might be something that you want to push off. The fire rate for the Mr. Blasty is actually really interesting. It has a slower fire rate when aimed in, so it'll have a 3 fire rate when you hip fire it and a 2.25 fire rate when you're aimed in. The infantry rifle has a fire rate of just 4 all the time, so this is an advantage for the infantry rifle. It does just have an on paper faster fire rate, but with how both of these weapons play, I don't think the fire rate is the biggest deal because you're rarely just going to be like peaking for extended periods of time with these weapons. I feel like when you're using something like the suppressed car or the striker AR, the fire rate really matters because you're just going to be peaking probably for a long time and full spraying it. But both of these weapons are more, as I've kind of outlined, you play off cover, you play for early tags. It's nice to have the higher fire rate, but it's not as big of a deal with how I play with them. And both of these weapons are also fully automatic. You can just hold down the fire button and it'll keep shooting. But this is also something that I rarely take advantage of because I'm typically not peaking for really long periods of time with either of these weapons. So I pretty much always just end up tap firing them, even though you can full spray them if you choose to, and it'll just fire at the optimal rate. The mag size is also slightly better on the infantry rifle, where it will have 8 for the blue and under rarities and then 10 for the purple and gold. The Mr. Blasty will only have 6 rounds and then you need to reload, or 8 if you have the exotic Mr. Blasty. It has like extra bullets for some reason. So the exotic one's a little bit better in that regard. But either way, the mag size on both of these weapons is not impressive. Sure, the infantry has a little bit more, but it's not the biggest deal to me. They both reload really quick, and as I've said several times, the playstyle of both of these weapons for me is not to just be peeking and dumping my entire mag and then backing off to reload. It's more like you peek, shoot a shot, go back into cover, peek, shoot a shot, go back into cover. Or if you have somebody that just doesn't know where you are, you shoot until like they start to do something or start to respond. But the lower mag size, I feel like with how these weapons play, isn't that big of a deal. So like statistically, these weapons are so similar, it's really a toss-up between them. Like the Mr. Blasty has higher damage, but the infantry has a little bit better fire rate, and a little bit better mag size. But either way, it's not like there's a clear winner, I feel like, as far as statistics go. But I definitely prefer the Mr. Blasty to the Infantry Rifle. And it's something that's hard to describe, but like the feel of the Mr. Blasty to me just feels significantly better in close and like medium range situations, while also just feeling fine at longer ranges too. Like both of these weapons are going to be more geared towards longer ranges, but medium range is also something that's going to crop up a lot because, as I touched on, a lot of the fights this season are really just stalematey around cover, with both players just looking to get some sort of initial damage. And in those situations, if you have somebody that's like 40-50 meters away, I would so much rather have the Mr. Blasty. It just feels better to me, and with how statistically close these weapons are, I think you should just use whichever one feels best to you. Whichever one you feel most comfortable using, it's probably going to be the one that you do best with, because it's not like there is a definitive winner one way or the other. I'll have a clip on screen now of an endgame that I think I just straight up won because of me hitting Mr. Blasty shots on the enemies as they pushed me. And in like chaotic moments in this, I just always feel a lot better with the Mr. Blasty than I do the Infantry Rifle. And just being able to land a shot or two with the pistol going into these fights can completely change the outcome. And as I said, it's like very feeling based, so it's hard to describe. But I feel like if you've played the game as well, you probably know what I'm talking about, because looking at other people's inventories that I run into and looking at streams and stuff, it seems like most people do prefer the Mr. Blasty to the Infantry Rifle. And I think this just snappier feel of it, like it just feels more mobile to me in a way. I think that's a big reason why. In these situations, it really helps. Another thing that really feels better about the Mr. Blasty to me is going to be the hipfire accuracy, especially if I'm shockwaving and chasing an enemy, which is something that is going to happen a good amount this season. If you've been playing zero build this season, I'm sure you've had many fights where you shoot someone one time and then they're just perma shockwaving away. And if you do decide to chase an enemy, being able to hipfire and land shots with the Mr. Blasty as you're chasing them is something that can, you know, make the fight easier for you if they do eventually stop, or just outright kill them, saving you time chasing, saving you mobility. So the hipfire accuracy of the Mr. Blasty is probably the biggest advantage I feel like it has over the infantry, just because of how this season plays. And as I touched on earlier on in the video, with both the Mr. Blasty and the Infantry Rifle, a lot of times you're going to be behind cover, the enemy's going to be behind cover, and then both of you are just kind of looking to get shots to open the fight. And if you do hit a headshot or hit 2 body shots or something with the Mr. Blasty and you want to push with a shockwave or even the dash fish, you can hipfire the Mr. Blasty at them while in the sky. And, you know, you're not going to hit every shot probably, but if your aim is good, I feel like you can somewhat consistently land hipfire shots with the Mr. Blasty. That's going to make the fight even easier when you do push them. Like, let's say you hit a headshot, you got about 100 damage on them. Now you hit a body shot while you're in the sky and you're landing on them with your shotgun out after hitting that body shot. Like, you only need 100 damage or so to clean that kill up. It's just going to be a lot easier. Those 1 or 2 shots you can hit while shockwaving onto somebody can be a big deal. And then the final thing that I think really cements Mr. Blasty as the best choice is just going to be that the exotic Mr. Blasty is probably the best weapon in the loot pool right now. This will attach a balloon to an enemy if you shoot them with a fully loaded version of the gun. It's only on your first shot that attaches the balloon. And this creates so many openings for you in fights and makes it so much easier to clean enemies up. And because this exotic version is so good, I would like to use it in every opportunity I get. But the way the bosses and the exotics work out this season, it's not like you're going to be getting it every game. But when I do, I want to use it. And so for that reason, I feel like just being used to using the Mr. Blasty and used to playing off it and being comfortable with it is going to make it to where you get more out of it even when you get the exotic one. Like, I feel like if I just full ran the infantry all the time and only used the Mr. Blasty if I had the exotic, I would be worse with the Mr. Blasty, if that makes any sense. So I think the weapon's really good. I think both choices are good, but those little, like the feel of the weapon and the hipfire accuracy and the fact that the exotic exists is why I would prefer to use the Mr. Blasty over the Infantry Rifle. But as I said, both choices are good. And the way my setup typically goes this season, I have a shotgun, a spray weapon, heals, mobility, and then my long range weapon, which is typically going to be the infantry or the Mr. Blasty. If I have my choice of either, it's going to be the Mr. Blasty, but I end up in a lot of situations where like I haven't quite found the pistol yet, so I use the infantry until I'm able to get the pistol. So I think both are good, but I prefer the Mr. Blasty, but I'm happy to use the infantry too if I have to. But that is going to be it for this video. As always, if you guys did find this to be helpful, informative, or interesting, remember to give it a like, subscribe if you like some more. Let me know down in the comments below which of these weapons you prefer, and I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.